I guess the next question that comes up for me is, as you did this pivot and did this exploration, can you talk about the thought process to pursue this like leadership development as opposed to the different paths that say a typical, someone that does their 20 years will go and do like, oh, I'm going to go and work for a defense contractor or fall into this corporate role or maybe even become an academic. Can you talk about, it seems like there's maybe some alignment maybe towards the academic piece or like other elements. Why was this a particular venue that worked the best?
I think it was just because I gave myself the time to explore a lot of different things. And that allowed me to see what was lighting me up. And what really resonated with me was all of the learning that is a part of entrepreneurship. I had the opportunity to sit on a panel earlier this week, and the other panelists, we went to dinner afterwards, and everybody founder has their own business doing interesting things, and what we were talking about was, what else would we do if we weren't doing this? And I said, I can't think of anything else, because as somebody that loves learning and learning new things, this is the only thing that I found where I literally am guaranteed to learn something new every single day. There are lots of different opportunities and jobs that I've had over the years where there's been tons of learning. So I'm not saying that, that didn't occur, but having your own business, and particularly as a solopreneur right now, you're responsible for everything. And while it doesn't always work out, I think that the true joy is in the journey and being able to look back. And I can even say, wow, what I know now compared to like 2 weeks ago with respect to X, Y, or Z, it's really exciting. And so by not rushing into the next thing or defaulting to that need to have a clear plan X number of years out, aligning myself with an organization that probably would have been a great company, but not the right fit, or, going into defense contracting, which I just inherently knew that wasn't of interest to me. And I always wanted to be more on the practitioner side with business, not the theory. So from the academic perspective, it's absolutely great and fun to teach the concepts, but I wanted to actually do the concepts. So that kind of ruled that out. But by taking that sabbatical, I was able to see what things really resonated with me. And then it became, oh, well, this is the path and the thing to do. And I think for those that are transitioning, if you can afford to give yourself that time, and it's not to say it's as much time as I took, even a few months, or, if your circumstance is, depending on your circumstance, even a few weeks, to give yourself time to further downshift and process and get clearer about the things that are interesting to you. Because people mentioned opportunities, and people emailed and wanted to see if I was interested in X, Y, or Z. And when I would read that and I would really pay attention to what was going on inside me, it's like, oh yeah, I actually wasn't excited about that at all. Like, it says all the right words, but that's not interesting to me. So giving yourself that opportunity to take some time can allow you to be more in touch with what it is that you want, so that you don't just on an impulse take an opportunity and then find out, oh, this isn't the right fit. And then you're quitting a job and trying to find something relatively quickly thereafter.
So if you have the time, take it to really do the soul searching. And even if it's not, say, as long as your trip, sometimes really do that buffer and figure out what that is. It's really important. Next question I had, in terms of peeling back the veneer, because there are a lot of opportunities that could appeal or sound interesting, how did you kind of sort through the noise?
It really was paying attention to how I felt internally And some of them, like, it wasn't a stomach turning, but it was pretty close, like, oh yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. And then in other cases, it was, is that even really somewhere that I would be a great fit? And then in other cases, I think it was just a recognition that I don't want to be, for me, I was very much looking for greater autonomy in my own life. And so opportunities to have that were important to me. Organizations that wouldn't open that, it wasn't interesting. And then the more that I started to pay attention to that, I recognized, bottom line is, I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to be my own boss. I want to chart my own path. And taking 13 months and crisscrossing the globe and deciding, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go here next. And oh, I'm interested in learning about this company. Let me look in my LinkedIn. Like, does anybody have any connections? Oh, let me, get on WhatsApp for this group of alumni and see if somebody can make that. And so what I was seeing was that the sabbatical was actually setting me up to have that greater autonomy and to see that, oh yeah, you're actually developing further the skills that you're going to need in the next chapter.
So from here, where are you trying to go with excellence Unbounded? What's like, are you trying to be more like is it higher echelon, upper echelon? Are you trying more like a crystal group, or are you trying to just kind of see where the solopreneur trying to take you?
So right now I'm actually in the process of writing a book. And with that book that'll come out in March of next year, what I'm hoping to do, one, is really shift and create a conversation within the entrepreneurial ecosystem that opens up a dialogue about the way in which the ecosystem is thinking about the entrepreneurial journey. I think that where it needs to go is away from this focus on what I would term these conventional journeys that really center around access to advisors and execution of certain tasks that kind of fall within a playbook, and giving greater prioritization to the development of the internal capacity that is so foundational to the work of entrepreneurship, because of the way that actually then impacts how entrepreneurs carry out the things that are part of that conventional journey, which are important things, but right now they're kind of the only show in town. And then if there's time or space, maybe there will be a focus on developing the capacity of the entrepreneur. And what I'm saying is that, no, that actually needs to shift, and you need to put the focus here because of how it will then change how they carry out these critical tasks. So I share all of that to say that, one, that is a big piece of my focus for the rest of this year, is getting that put together and continuing to meet with lots of really amazing founders, venture capitalists, and entrepreneur support organizations to get their input and their perspective as I'm working on this. What I'd like to do in the next stage is actually create some partnerships with some of the accelerators and with different venture capital companies that are investing in organizations that align with the types of entrepreneurs that I support, to be able to bring the work and the insight that I have to those entrepreneurs so that they can be more successful in continuing to scale their businesses and have the impact that they want. So with that, I'm in the process of building some more relationships with other coaches and finding the right sorts of people that for larger contracts would be able to collaborate in the way that allows the entrepreneurs to benefit from the focus on mindset, courage, resilience, and innovation that is so critical to them leading themselves their teams and their companies effectively.
So working with a broad array of organizations that are kind of at that cusp of developing that entrepreneurial talent to kind of help those entrepreneurs not only build that skill set, but also think about their problems or challenges in a different way. I get
Yes.
that. And so from there, I kind of the last couple of points that I had, can you talk about how your lens looks a little different based on your experience, both as a woman and as a woman of color, whether that's through the coaching process or navigating leadership through kind of your military career?
I mean, from the time that you're at West Point, you're aware of a different lens that you have just because of your own lived experiences, and then recognizing that it's that an institution that's founded in 1802 has has a certain perspective that has been well established. And when women enter that class, the first class of women graduate in 1980, then you're aware from everything from the cut of the uniforms to the curriculum that is the foundation of the institution, and then the physical programming that's there, that this institution was designed for other people originally, and now you're here. And so I think that creates an environment where you realize that you need to be up to the challenge. And I think that it helps foster, to take from Angela Duckworth, a grittiness that is there. And what I found was that it served me well throughout the rest of my career, because you have to develop a bit of a thicker skin and a perspective that you can't take everything that seriously. I found that it led to a bit of a warped sense of humor, and I think a compassion for supporting other women along the journey, and particularly other Black women. So for me, it was an awareness that, hey, I need to step up my game and support others, and accept support when I can get it, and look for a lot of humor in the things that are otherwise frustrating about being at West Point, and then as continuing on in my journey while in the military. But that, now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud, that actually helped, I think, draw a community towards me in a lot of ways, and a lot of enduring friendships to this day.
That's helpful. And yeah, it makes sense given the unique nature that is the academy, and good memories and bad memories,
Yes.
it has its impression on us all. And so from here, any, I guess, words of wisdom, whether that's tools that helped you kind of go through the journey, whether that's like books and podcasts. And then I'd like to pivot to like what you're working on that you like to share with our users, just kind of our last.
So in terms of words of wisdom, I would really just say that if you're able to give up the need to know all about what lies ahead and take it more, maybe not day to day, but month to month or year to year, depending on what your comfort level is, that you create more space for possibility. And I think that is where you can find a lot of joy in reasserting control over your path, because the military requires that you surrender that. You have, specific assignments. You might get a chance to list your preferences, and then maybe you get something that's within your top 3, and maybe you don't. But as you're thinking about the transition, this is where you actually can design what it is that you want next. You just can't expect that you're going to know as far out as you would know with your military assignment and all of the things that are ahead. So if you can give up that need to know a far distance in advance, there are a lot of amazing possibilities that are out there. And by investing in your circle of people that actually care about you, which usually starts within your alumni networks and family, friends, there are more possibilities and opportunities than you would necessarily think are out there. And so invest in that and don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself.
All great nuggets. I think those are a lot of words you imparted to me as I was looking at business schools, and even when I was a cadet on trip section. So it sounds very apt. Last piece, you mentioned you're writing a book. Are there any other like projects, initiatives, or collaborations that you're working on that you'd like our listeners to kind of follow?
Not anything else that I want to share right now. The biggest thing really is the book, and this undertaking has been significant, a joyful, significant, because of the opportunity to go a lot deeper in the concepts and to spend a lot more time thinking about them. I actually will add, if I can double back to one other nugget for your users, something that I've realized in this process, not to say that everybody should or needs to write a book, but there's something about the power of a project. And so if you know that you are in the process or you're thinking about transitioning, consider using a project to create opportunities for yourself. You could decide that you wanted to research something about an industry that maybe you think you might want to go into. And then you start with your network of people and you say, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's how I want to go about it. Who should I talk to? Here's who I think I would like to reach out to. And you can list people on there that you don't even have connections to. And then as you continue to talk to different people and kind of show them what it is that you're working on, the people that you've identified so far, who you already are connected to, but who maybe you need help getting connected to, and who else is not on here that I should talk to. This will allow you to create new relationships, and it reduces the ask for the people because you're just asking for 30 minutes of their time. Most people can give you 30 minutes of their time. And when you make that ask and you have a clear thing that you want from it, you'd be amazed what you're able to converse with people about and the insights that you're able to get. And this is what I'm personally seeing as I'm interviewing tons and tons of people for this book, is that one, I'm able to connect with a lot of people that otherwise might not make time, but it's a very specific ask for a very specific amount of time. And it's interesting what it is that I'm doing. And so, they're curious to learn a little bit and then see if they can add value. In the process, it's allowing me to expand my network significantly of people that are like-minded or working on, similar things where I might be able to help them or they might be able to help me. And so if you know that you're approaching a transition, but you want to have the opportunity to maybe clarify that something is or isn't the right fit or might not have opportunities for you, scoping a simple project and then building out a real basic presentation. I took from what investment banks do. I was sitting at my desk one night and I said, wait, if an investment bank builds a roadshow before an IPO and uses that to get information and to, gather all sorts of data, why don't I build a roadshow about this book that I'm working on, identify 15 people that might, that are within my network